Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Cowboys land All-Pro to pair with Diggs in trade proposal. Relatively speaking, the NFL offseason is still young. The Dallas Cowboys have plenty of time to continue to improve their roster, and this offseason has already gone better than last. While that might not be saying much after the lack of moves the Cowboys made last year, Dallas looks to be in a much better position than it was during this part of last year. There are still a few ways for the Cowboys to improve, notably on the defensive side of the football. If they want to add another corner, a few players could be available for them to accomplish that. Among them is Marlon Humphrey, an All-Pro from the Baltimore Ravens. Anthony Palacios of Last Word on Sports proposed the idea of the Ravens trading him to the Cowboys, citing the uncertainties around Trayvon Diggs' future. The Dallas Cowboys lost a free agent gem in Jordan Lewis, but they're rolling the dice on Kaiir Elam after the recent trade with the Bills. Trayvon Diggs is returning, but his future is up in the air despite signing a long-term deal 2 years ago. The same can be said about Darren Bland, who's been battling injuries, too, but the team will probably play it by ear. The team should find an immediate answer, and Marlon Humphrey could be a solid veteran who may change the landscape of this team's secondary, Palacios wrote. The Baltimore Ravens are another team that needs to do much more this offseason to be a true Super Bowl contender. Whenever a team has Lamar Jackson, they should always like their chances, but the Ravens aren't in the best position to win the AFC, and trading Humphrey doesn't necessarily change that. However, with the cap savings the Ravens could find by trading the 4-time Pro Bowl selection, it could be worth it. Bleacher Report's NFL scouting department reported that trading him would give the Ravens $12.7 million in cap space. The Ravens are going to face the problem that a lot of contenders face. They are tied against the cap and have some talented older players who are starting to get costly. Marlon Humphrey and Mark Andrews are prime examples. Both represent significant cap savings if the Ravens were to trade them, as they are set to cost a combined $42.3 million against the cap next season. Trading Humphrey would give them $12.7 million more in cap space, while trading away Andrews would create $11 million, BR wrote. The Dallas Cowboys would have to take on his remaining money, but he'd be well worth it if he's the type of player he was earlier in his career. Humphrey was excellent again in 2024, too, earning a first-team All-Pro nod. However, 2023 wasn't ideal. Saving money could be the deciding factor for the Baltimore Ravens if they believe another player they could sign with that money would be a positive addition in the future. The Cowboys could feel the same way, as Humphrey is set to make $15.3 million in 2026. Only 28 years old, there should be plenty left in the tank. The Cowboys should view him as a win-now player, and that's all that matters for a team looking to win as early as next season. 2025 NFL Draft, 3 players who could be Day 3 steals for Cowboys. Barring a trade, of the Dallas Cowboys' 10 total draft picks in the 2025 NFL Draft, 6 of them are on Day 3 in rounds 4 through 7. With 3 picks in the 5th round and 2 in both the 6th and 7th round, it's going to be important for the Cowboys to find impact players in the latter part of the draft. The Cowboys are fortunately known as a team who have been able to find some hidden gems in the late rounds in the past, as well as hitting on some undrafted free agents, but nothing is ever guaranteed. This year, more than in years past, they may need to hit on more than they miss, considering they still have quite a few holes to fill for their roster. With that in mind, here are a few of the players who could be late-round steals for the Cowboys. Each play listed below possesses the ability to fill one of the Cowboys' roster needs early on as a role player as a rookie. For a late-round draft pick, that should be considered a win. RB Jaden Blue, Texas. After signing Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders in free agency, it's still unclear exactly what the Cowboys are looking for at the RB position or when they may select one in the draft. The one thing we do know right now about their offense based on last season is they could definitely use more playmakers who would add some juice to both the running and passing game. Former Texas Longhorns RB Jaden Blue could be that player. Blue probably isn't someone who is expected to carry the majority of the workload at the next level. The 5 feet 9 inches, 196 pounds just doesn't have the frame to handle around 20 touches a game in the NFL. What he does bring to the table though is the ability to take it to the house any time he touches the ball as either a runner or receiver out of the backfield. That kind of home run threat is currently lacking from Dallas offense. WR Kyle Williams, Washington State. Kyle Williams is flying under the radar no more after besting nearly every defensive back at the Senior Bowl to only follow it up by performing really well at the scouting combine. Because of that, the former Washington State WR has seen his draft stock skyrocket. While he's still expected to be a Day 3 draft pick, there's a chance he could sneak in and get selected in the latter part of Day 2. It only takes one team to fall in love with him. Williams is more of a slot/ZWR and may not be what the Cowboys are looking for if they want an X-receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb. However, with his talent and skill set, he could complement number 88 very well. His release package off the line of scrimmage is one of the best in the draft class, and his ability to accelerate to top speed immediately helps him to create separation. He's a versatile playmaker who could fit nicely in Dallas. Willie Lampkin, North Carolina. At just over 5 feet 10 inches, and weighing 270 pounds, Willie Lampkin definitely doesn't pass the eye test for what one would consider an NFL-caliber offensive lineman. Those in charge of the 2025 scouting combine must have thought the same thing because he was a snub from the big event. And yet, his film at both Coastal Carolina and North Carolina says otherwise, as well as his performance at the Senior Bowl where he proved he can thrive against bigger competition as a guard. While it's true that the Cowboys already have several in-house options to replace the recently retired Zach Martin at right guard, and also signed Robert Jones in free agency to add further depth, the depth chart is still fluid. Although he's undersized for an NFL RG, Lampkin is an above-average athlete who plays with tremendous pad level and weight distribution, maximizing what he has to work with despite his size limitations. Dallas Cowboys named great fit for freakish NFL draft edge prospect. The Dallas Cowboys need help along the defensive line. And according to one analyst, there might be one prospect in next month's NFL draft who fits those needs to a T. Texas A&M Aggies defensive end Shemar Stewart. During the PFF College Football Show, analyst Dalton Wasserman broke down how Texas A&M Stewart not only fills a need for Dallas but is also an excellent fit in the scheme of new defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. One of the things that sticks out to me, we have to remember it's not Mike Zimmer now running this defense, it's Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus is a coach who goes for down linemen more than almost anybody. So you need big, strong defensive ends to defend the run. He can even reduce down and play inside like he did at Texas A&M a little bit, right over the tackle, or even as a 7 on the tight end as well. What really sets Stewart apart, however, and what has scouts drooling, are his physical gifts. In Indianapolis, Stewart ran a 4.59 40-yard dash, had a 40-inch vertical jump, a 10 feet 11 inches broad jump and a 1.58 10-yard split, ranking 4th with a score of 84 in the combined athleticism score for his position, per NFL.com. He also did it all while measuring in at 6'5", 267 pounds. You do look at him on the field or at the combine, he had one of the best combines we have seen from an edge player. You go, okay, that's a freakish guy. That looks like a guy who can take a game over, Wasserman said. Of course, Stewart is far from a sure thing either. At Texas A&M, despite his amazing athleticism, the sack numbers were simply not there. In 3 seasons in College Station, Stewart had just 4.5 sacks and 61 pressures in 680 pass rush snaps over 37 games. He also added 12 tackles for loss and 65 total tackles. That said, his ability to defend the run and hold the edge are both things Eberflus covets in his edge defenders. There's still a ways to go with the pass rush, we know this. But, he's a really darn good run defender. He's a powerful, strong run defender who can one arm and hold that edge on the outside in that wide 9 as well. I think Eberflus is somebody who would like Shemar Stewart. And you, fan? What do you think about Shemar Stewart's situation? Write to us in the comments.